Hello everyone, my name is Michael and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be talking about why you should learn Spanish, why I'm learning Spanish, and why I think it's a really good idea to learn Spanish. So I have a few different main reasons, and then we're just going to kind of go off on some tangents, and we're just going to have a raw conversation about this because I've been learning Spanish for a few months now. I'd say a little bit more than a few months, but recently been trying to take it past learning and starting to really develop in the language and being able to start speaking and having conversations with people. Let's go ahead and get started. One of my first reasons why I think that you should learn a new language, everyone should, is because there's opportunities, personal growth, and it's a whole journey learning a new language. Some of the things I can think of off the top of my head: career opportunities, travel. There's currently 21 different countries. Don't quote me, but it's somewhere around that number, including the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico, that Spanish is their main language. Let's talk about personal growth for a second. So, personal growth in general, it takes hours and hours to learn a new language. We're talking, it's going to be thousands of hours while you're learning a new language that you're putting in the time. You're studying, you're watching movies, however you're going to learn this new language. And that takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to learn a new language. And it says a lot about you. It says a lot about your character. It shows that you're willing to, put a lot of time into something, that you want something, that you're able to accomplish something. I think there's a lot to say about someone that has learned another language that they're not native to. Another thing that I want to talk about as far as personal growth is confidence. Me, still, in the first I would say in the first 6 months of learning a new language, I'm still really kind of nervous to talk to anyone in Spanish, to say anything, and in my head I'm thinking, this would be really cool, but I'm also scared because I don't want to mess something up or whatever. And that really helps you as a person and help growing your confidence. So we've talked about the opportunities, we've talked about personal growth, and now I want to talk about the overall journey while you're learning a new language. There's so many different beautiful cultures, beautiful people, amazing different types of foods that you can try to help really immerse yourself in this new language. A lot of people think learning a new language is just like, we're going to be reading a book and we're going to be practicing vocabulary, but it's so much more than that. You have to immerse yourself into a completely different culture. And a lot of people don't understand how fun that is to, learn new things that you've never learned before. Eat new foods that you've never ate before. I know that's one of my favorite things because anyone that knows, in the Hispanic culture, there's a lot of good food. So, with that being said, it's one thing to be able to travel to another country and, of course, no matter what, you're going to have an amazing experience. You're going to love your time while you're there. It's a whole different experience when you're able to travel to a different country. You're able to speak with the natives. You're able to make new friends. It's just a whole different experience. So, yeah, I think as far as, career opportunities, personal growth, and overall the journey of learning a new language, that's kind of like all goes into one category in a way, is kind of my first real big reason why you should learn Spanish or any language, but specifically for this video we're talking about Spanish. And I think it goes without saying that learning a new language is 100% life-changing by, meeting all these new people and doing all these new things, opening up your mind to a completely different perspective about life. So I want to talk about how being bilingual is on a spectrum. So, and in general, learning a new language is on a spectrum. So we've already talked about how learning a new language, you're going to spend hours and hours and hours learning a new language. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be bilingual. It's going to take a long time. That's why I say being bilingual is on a spectrum, because it takes a lot of time and requires a lot of new information. So once you become fluent in that language and you start your ability to speak fluently with other people in that language, the more bilingual you become over time. Now, by saying that, I want to note that there's no scientific experiment or scientific results that show that being bilingual makes you smarter. But I beg to differ, because in order to learn a new language, you have to learn so much new information. I personally believe that the more you stimulate your brain, the smarter that you become. Whether, you're reading books, you're writing, playing sports. People that play sports are really smart. People that are gamers are really smart. They're stimulating their brain. They're constantly stimulating your brain. When you learn a new language, you're stimulating your brain all the time to learn these new things. You're creating new pathways in your brain. You can't tell me that people that are bilingual aren't smarter than the average person who is monolingual. And it's not to be like, oh, we're smarter because we know multiple languages, but I'm just calling it for what it is. If you want to feel smarter in your everyday life, if you want to feel like you're challenging your brain, you should learn a new language. So, and also I do want to sidetrack. If you have mental health issues or suffering from anxiety, depression, anything like that, learning a new language will really help you. So that's just another thing. I kind of want to get into the fact that we live in such a diverse world that knowing only one language is really hindering yourself, and it also hinders other people. So I currently live in the United States, and we have a lot of people here who speak many different languages. We have a lot of people here who only speak Spanish. We have a lot of people here who speak Spanish and a little bit of English. We have people that speak both. No matter who you are, I love everyone. I'm accepting of everyone. And the whole reason of me wanting to learn Spanish in the first place was to be able to help people around you, and especially people who don't speak that good of English, be able to help them, if they need help, whether it's ordering food or, there was an emergency that happened and you need to help, you need to step up to help them, and you're one of the only people there that knows how to speak Spanish. It's a good way to really help with the diversity that's in our country. Spanish is the 4th most spoken language in the world, and the 2nd most spoken language in the United States. And I think there's around 50 million people in the United States alone that speak Spanish. So let that sink in. There's 50 million people out there that you could be creating friendships with, bonds with. Obviously, I don't think anyone's going to know 50 million people in their lifetime, but it just goes to show that you can really, create new friends, create new experiences through learning a new language. So, with that being said, those are a lot of my main reasons why I want to learn Spanish. There probably is more that I just can't even think about right now, but those are the main things. I really do feel like learning a new language creates a better quality of life for someone. If you look at it in the terms of helping someone through their mental health, creating new friendships, really stimulating your mind to think harder and smarter. So, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I've been doing to learn Spanish for people that may want to start. I watch a lot of YouTube. Lots of YouTube. There's lots of creators out there that speak a mix. I might put some of my favorite creators in the description below. Just depends. Also watching a lot of Spanish movies and TV shows. I think there's one that I just started watching yesterday from a girl that I saw on TikTok. It's called, don't get me to lie, but I'm pretty sure it's Pocoyo. So it's like a kid's show, but it is easy to learn, short, simple sentences. So they do talk a little fast. Kind of bringing it to my second point too, and why movies and shows are so important, is listening to the Spanish language. Is what I've learned is one of the most important things to do. Listening to people speaking, listening to people talk in the particular language that you're trying to learn will really help your brain start to decipher and understand those words. So just trying to incorporate Spanish more into my everyday life, thinking about, oh, what is the door called? It's a puerta. What is my house called? It's a casa. It's like, how do you say camera? How do you say light? How do you say I want to eat or I'm hungry? You start to incorporate those things into your everyday life, and those get ingrained in your head. You start thinking about them a lot. Also, another thing as far as, incorporating it in my everyday life is listening to a lot of Spanish music. So lately I've been really getting into Spanish music. My favorite artist right now is Bad Bunny. I think probably be always one of my favorite artists now, not just, Spanish speaking artists, but artists of all time. I love everything he stands for, and his music is, really, really good. So that's another thing. I also have a few Spanish speaking friends that I work with, and they have helped me tremendously with learning Spanish. So, and it also gives you good, if you have Spanish speaking friends and you tell them you want to learn Spanish, they're going to start quizzing you every day when you walk in to work or go and see them. They're going to be like, what is this in Spanish? Or how do you say that in Spanish? Or ask me in Spanish, or, you get the point. One of my last resources, and I'm not going to say my last resource because every day I'm looking for new resources. And podcasts are really good. That's another one. Podcasts. I learned a lot of basic stuff off of Mexican Spanish with Diego. If you look it up on your podcast app or whatever, I'm sure it will pop up, but it's really easy to learn. You can listen to it in the car, whatever. And then one of my main ways that I've been learning a lot of cool new stuff is this book right here, Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. It teaches you in a really cool way, and I actually learned about this book from another YouTube creator, and I really liked it so far. I take notes in my notebook about pretty much everything I learn in here, at least what I think is really helpful. I would just suggest to trust the process with this book. I'll put a link down in the description below for how to get it on Amazon. It's not expensive, and it's a really good resource to, helping you get more conversational in Spanish. Last thing, and the ending point that I want to make is, if you've ever been out in public and you've seen someone or heard someone and they don't know how to speak the language that the majority of people around them can speak, and they need help, whether it's, directions or ordering food or any of those sorts of things. The feeling and what motivates me to learn Spanish, the thought of being able to help them when they need it the most, when they're not expecting it, is what really drives me to learn Spanish. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. There's going to be a lot more Spanish content to come. I really, put your suggestions down in the comments, what you think I should make a video about next. I also am a somewhat videographer. I do photography and stuff like that. I've always been into that stuff. So I do want to make some more stylized videos. I don't ever really want to make a video of me just sitting down like this again, but I really thought it was important to establish what my channel is going to be about. It's going to be about culture. It's going to be about history. It's going to be, about a bunch of different countries. And eventually, once I start getting more comfortable with the Spanish language, I want to jump to some other languages too. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And until next time, thank you.